It's all too easy to overeat. In a world where we're bombarded with images and availability of food, your gut may be telling you that it's not hungry, but can you actually listen to what it's saying? In this video, I'm going to explain the signaling between the gut and the brain, which is via the gut-brain axis. Then I'm going to explain to you hunger and fullness signals and share with you a simple tool for tuning into those signals that I call the appetite pendulum. And I'll explain how you can use the appetite pendulum to guide your eating. All of this is beneficial in terms of weight loss, but you'll also find there are other health benefits of being able to do this. And in the final section, I'm going to show you what the 5 key benefits are of doing this, that using your gut to guide your eating will really reap benefits. So let's start with a bit of biology. Your brain, your stomach, and your intestines communicate with each other in an amazing symphony of messages and feedback through a combination of hormonal signals and nerve signals. And these signals have evolved to help us to regulate our nutrient and our energy intake. So our biology is geared to doing just that. When our energy and nutrient levels are running low, our biology kicks in to get us to seek food, to find it and to eat it. And as we're eating, as our supplies are increasing through eating food, our interest in food starts to dial down to help us reduce eating, to stop. So this system has evolved to help us do just that, to regulate ourselves. Subjectively, these signals are experienced as hunger and fullness, and many of us have lost touch with these signals over the years. We all use them as infants, and if you watch an infant feeding, you'll see that they get distressed when they're hungry. They communicate that distress, and whilst they're eating, they will eat with enjoyment or relish, perhaps, and then there comes a point when they've had enough and they don't want any more. But many of us lose touch with these signals over the years. And in this video, I want to help you to relearn to tune into those signals for the benefit of your health and to help you lose weight in a way that's sustainable. So our experience of the gut-brain signaling, the gut-brain axis, is in hunger and fullness. And these are not like a light switch. Hunger and fullness are not simple on-off messages. These signals ebb and flow depending on what's happening in our bodies and our minds. If you think of it, this system is a bit like our temperature regulation system, which is also to do with regulating our bodies. With temperature regulation, our bodies need to stay within a comfortable range. And what happens is that if our temperature falls, then biological mechanisms kick in. So, for example, the blood supply to the skin is redirected, and that means that you conserve heat. But it's not just the biology that's affected. If you're getting colder, alongside those biological mechanisms to conserve heat, you'll also get psychological drives to do things like put on a jumper or close a window. Now, our biology and psychology of hunger and fullness is a little bit like this, but you probably haven't lost touch with the temperature regulation signals. For a start, we're just not bombarded with adverts for heating and cooling gadgets all the time. And also, as kids, we're not rewarded by the temperature, by the heating being turned off or turned on for good behaviour. So that system is likely to be one that you haven't really lost touch with. Hunger and fullness, though, is different. So unlike the temperature regulation system, we are bombarded with adverts for food, very often high calorie, energy dense food. And food is often available to us around the clock, and we're reminded of it continually. Added to which, we were probably rewarded for good behavior or incentivized with sweet treats as when we were kids. So this whole system is one that is much more likely that we've lost touch with. So to help you to reconnect with this system, I want to share the appetite pendulum with you. The appetite pendulum is a really, really simple scale that I developed to help gauge levels of hunger and fullness at any particular point and use that to guide eating. There are many different scales for similarly tuning into hunger and fullness signals, but all of the other scales go from either 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, where 0 or 1 denotes extremely hungry and 10 denotes extremely full. My problem with that is that, to me, that is totally counterintuitive, because 0 or 0 to me denotes nothing. It denotes an absence, whereas being extremely hungry to me is anything but nothing, anything but an absence. It's quite an unpleasant sensation, and it's quite intense. So I created the appetite pendulum deliberately with the 0 in the center. So the 0 is 0, it's neither hungry or full, it's a neutral point. And the increasing positive numbers, up to 5, up to +5, denote increasing levels of fullness, and the increasing minus levels numbers denote increasing levels of hunger. So -5, extremely hungry, +5, uncomfortably full. So whilst you're eating, if you can tune in to what's happening in your body, you can maybe start to notice increasing levels of fullness and decide to stop at the point of being just full. So you'll see that I've made other videos to do with fullness and to do with how to stop when you're just full. But for now, just notice that being able to stop eating at the point of being just full is going to stop you going to the extremes of fullness, and that will help your overall eating regulation. The other way that you can use the appetite pendulum is at any point when you're not eating a meal during the day and you happen to think of food. So if it's the between meal times at any point and the thought of food pops into your head and you might be tempted to go and eat something, before you do that, just pause and tune into what's happening in your gut and give it a rating on the appetite pendulum. If you're already a -3, then it's time to eat. If you're definitely hungry, it is time to eat. If that time to eat is falling between 2 meal times, maybe it's sort of more or less halfway between, then it's probably a good idea to have a snack to tide you over. If, on the other hand, it's you're anything but -3, if you haven't yet arrived at -3, but you're thinking of food, then it's probably not your gut that's oriented you towards the food. It might well be that you've had a reminder of food, or you've seen an advert for food, or maybe you've smelt cooking, or anything that gets your mind onto the thoughts of food. So by tuning into your gut and noticing that you're not yet -3, that will help you to register that this isn't about hunger. This isn't about being ready to eat. In that case, what's helpful is to distract yourself and divert yourself onto some other activity until this thinking, until these thoughts of eating and impulses to eat pass. One thing I would say is that if you find that you are continually hungry and these thoughts are not going away, then the appetite pendulum might not be what's helpful to you right now. It might be that you would benefit from talking to your doctor about other approaches to managing appetite, because continual hunger means that your hunger signaling may be working a bit differently. Okay, so let's look at the benefits of doing this, of tuning in and using your signals from your gut to guide your eating. The first benefit is that if you have been eating more than you need and you are able to stop when you've had enough and wait till you're definitely hungry, the overall amount you eat will reduce and your weight is likely to go down. And if that's what you're after, if what you're trying to achieve is weight loss, then that is going to be really helpful. The second benefit is that your body is going to be using less effort to digest food that it doesn't need. So it will gain the benefits of having mini fasts in effect between meals. So being able to have a rest from digestion and do other, for your body to engage in other functions like healing and repair and gut cleaning. The third benefit is that if you eat the same foods that you've always eaten, but you're eating less, then you're going to be saving money. So there's a financial benefit of doing this. The fourth benefit is that being able to use your gut to guide when you eat and when you stop, you are completely liberated from calorie counting or weighing your food. So it's a way of getting away from dieting and the sense of restriction. So you don't have to put so much effort in, and it's something that only needs your gut and your brain, so things you carry around with you anyway, to be able to do this. And the fifth benefit to me was the greatest of all, the thing that really blew me away, which is that it's a discovery. If you haven't done this for a while, it's a discovery that when you arrive at each meal definitely hungry, the food that you eat tastes fantastic. And in fact, the same food eaten when you're hungry compared with the same food eaten when you're not hungry actually tastes different, tastes better. And this is to do with the way our taste perception works. Our sense of taste is heightened when we get hungry, which is part of the system that evolved to orient us towards food and going and finding it. So that final benefit of the five, to me, was the greatest, but they're all beneficial effects that come from simply using your awareness of your gut and what it's telling you. And you can learn this gradually as a skill. It's not an overnight thing. Just redevelop this skill and you'll reap multiple benefits. My next video is on the two types of fullness signals, because that's a really helpful thing to understand in order to help you to use the plus numbers on the appetite pendulum to help you know when to stop eating.